Hi folks, Matt Yasmin here. I want to talk to you today about trademark searches, what they are, why and when you would conduct them, and to give you an example. The example I'm going to use today is around the word inauguration. And that's because today is January 21st, 2021. It's the day after the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as president and vice president. And I thought, I'm going to look and see what marks are out there that use or have been applied for using the word inauguration. So first, a trademark search. What is it? It's a search of at least the Federal Trademark Registry to see what is out there that's similar to the mark that you want to use or that you are using. And you should also look at what those marks you are used in connection with. What goods or services are those marks being used with? You can also search state registries. You can search common law, which means searching the internet. And if you're really dedicated and old school, searching newspapers. You can search corporate names and you can search domain names. And of course, these are jurisdictional. So if you're interested in using your mark outside of the US, you should search databases that relate to those other countries or regions. Now, the example of the word inauguration in a mark. I searched. I know it's going to be a little hard to see in the video, so I'll put images up as well in addition to my printout. I searched for the word inauguration, and I found 28 results in the Federal Registry. Of those, most are filed by inaugural committees, presidential inaugural committees, going back decades. And most of those, whether they were registered or not, are no longer active, unsurprisingly, because you have to renew a mark after it's registered at 5 years and then at 10 and every decade after that. Why are they not being renewed? Well, because the presidential inauguration of, say, 1972 is no longer relevant. No need to maintain that mark. Of the 28, only 4 of them are still live, meaning active. And here's a quick look at them. The interesting thing about these, I think, is that one is still registered. I'll show you that one in a moment. And it's got nothing to do with an actual presidential inauguration. One is still registered for the phrase or design inauguration of president and vice president. That one I think is interesting because it was renewed in 2000. It was applied for in 1997 or 8. I'll check my notes in a sec. It was renewed in 2009, and it should have been renewed or gone abandoned in 2019, but it hasn't, which is odd. Sometimes there's odd things in the database. And of the other 2, one is pending and is published now for opposition. Check out my other videos and blog posts for more info. I won't go into detail on that here. And one I'll also dig into a little bit here because I think it's going to face some challenges. Now, let's see. Of these 4, the one that's registered is for the mark Inauguration Station. And it's registered in connection with memorabilia, retail store and online store retail services featuring souvenirs and memorabilia. It was registered in 2009. It's still being used, at least according to this record. I haven't done any more research. And interestingly, the person had to disclaim the word inauguration. One of the advantages to doing a trademark search is that you see what has been done and what has been applied for and what happened in those applications. Were they allowed? Were they required to disclaim the word? With this one, it's not at all surprising that they had to disclaim the word inauguration because selling memorabilia and souvenirs very likely means they're selling memorabilia and souvenirs related to presidential inaugurations and related to presidents. And so you can't take over the word inauguration for those uses. There have been others registered. By the way, that's a disclaimer generally, and it's pretty common in a large number of trademark registration applications. One of the ones that's pending now that I think is going to face some challenges, this one here. It's for a design that includes Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and it's got a bunch of words around it about the inauguration of those 2 people. Two real challenges. One is when you identify individual people in a mark, you need their consent. And it's not clear that they have it from this application. Will the individual who applied for this mark get their consent? Probably not. The other is identification of services. Here it's in class 43 for restaurant, cookies, and clothing. Those things are going to have to be sorted out. Okay, not to dump on that one. One of the ones that is pending now and not registered is this one. Just for the word inauguration, registered in connection with gemstones made from the ashes of cremated people and funeral services. This mark is pending. There's no disclaimer required, in contrast to the memorabilia one, probably because these goods and services, the gemstones and funeral services, don't relate to an actual inauguration in any way. And so there's no requirement by the PTO, by the Patent and Trademark Office, that the applicant disclaim that word. And one application that I thought was interesting that's not live anymore is the word inauguration for use with alcoholic beverages, such as rum. Unfortunately, this application is abandoned. And lastly, this is the one that is still live, but perhaps surprisingly has not been canceled. That's what we've got in today's example for marks that use the word inauguration. And again, one of the advantages to doing a trademark search in the first place is so you can see what's out there, what is still active and might be an impediment to your registration, what has gone abandoned for various reasons. You can dig into them and see if some of the challenges that those applications faced might also make it hard for you to register the mark that you want. And lastly, you can see what, if anything, the PTO has done when similar marks to the one you want to use have been applied for. If you have questions about trademark knockout searches or trademark clearance searches or trademark landscape searches, you may hear them called any of those phrases, feel free to let me know. You can reach me at 617-340-9295, or my email is hello@yaspenlaw.com.